Y'all are gonna have to please forgive me because I have to eat. It's a Panda Express on 111th and Broadway in New York City. If you want to find me, you find me there a lot. But I'm not gonna tell you what time and when, what days, but I'm always there. But I don't stay. So forgive me for eating. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's get it in. Peace and blessings, Soul Future. This is Apexx Solar One. It's Friday. I'm outside chilling in the park. Excuse me for any chewing you might hear or anything because I got interrupted with some questions while I'm eating. So my man gotta leave, so I'm gonna try to answer these questions for him as fast as I possibly can. You wanted to know about compounds, certain compounds. You want me to see? Reincarnation and sound. All right, let's go. That's not so bad. Let me crack my ginger ale. I'm drinking a ginger ale. Canada Dry, by the way. I can't deal with nothing else. I don't mess with sweats. I don't mess with sweats. Okay, let's do it. Forgive me, Soul Future Rins. I'm gonna be a little quick because I'm eating. I'm answering these questions, trying to detail it, but I'm answering it to get back to my food before my food gets cold. So y'all forgive me for this broadcast if anything comes out unsatisfying to y'all. But remember, a brother was eating. Y'all did? Give me 1 minute. And we can start. What question you want me to do first? Say no more. Okay, the earth has a sound barrier. If it didn't have a sound barrier, we would all be deaf. Our eardrums would be done busted. You know when you hear lightning strike, boom, boom. I mean, to this day, you got grown people that cover their ears. It's that loud. Well, that broke the sound barrier of the earth and got through. That broke the sound barrier. So what I'm saying is, if you can still manage to, it could still manage to affect your eardrums to where lightning is that loud, you got to take both hands and cover your eardrums. And it broke the sound barrier that was, placed over the planet. Sound travels. How do you know sound travels? Well, you go to a valley or something like that, stand up and thing, you say hello, you hear it go hello, hello, hello. Someone a mile away from you can hear that hello. It came orated out of your mouth, but someone a mile away or 2 miles away can hear your echoes, right? But they're being broken down until they fade away by the sound barrier. So when you say hello, and you can sit and hear it, hello, 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 then that's sound traveling. And it travels very, very fast. I don't want to get into the decimals and things like that of the radius of the speed, but just know that the only thing that can travel faster than the speed of sound would be called hypersonic. Hypersonic travels faster than the speed of sound. Yeah. So you got things like when bombs explode here on the planet, when what else can I use? Bombs, loud anything, maybe a UFO crash or something like that, that will bounce off of the sound barrier, and the sound barrier will like absorb it. If not, it's sounds that can kill you. You might watch an old movie, or not even old movies, when they're talking about aliens or whatever, and they do something and you hear a loud sound go, and it's annoying, and the person just start like their head is aching, their brain is aching, just from sound. You can be killed from sound. So here we have a lot of sounds. You have, sound waves, you have ultrasound, you have, it's different type of sounds and there's different levels. Now, you was talking to me about Epsom salt, how you use it to, keep swellings down and stuff like that. FYI, Epsom is a place in England. It was a town in England that someone discovered a compound. Epsom salt does not have salt in it. Let me repeat that. Epsom salt does not have salt in it. All right? Right. It's the name. It's a town of the person who discovered this compound. You know what I'm saying? Epsom salt is actually magnesium, sulfur, and oxygen. The reason it keeps swelling down is the oxygen part of it. Anytime you add fresh oxygen to your body, to your structure, well, actually to your cells, it freshens them up. It wakes them up. It rejuvenates them. It rejuvenates your cells. Breathing in oxygen. Oxygen therapy is the best thing for cancer patients or anyone with severe swelling and things of that nature. So you got to remember, it's not even an actual salt, an Epsom salt. It's actually a chemical compound. That's what it is. It's magnesium, it's sulfur, and again, it's oxygen. Now they're diagnosed, in a different way. I don't want to get into that, but Epsom salt. Epsom is a place in England, it's a town or whatever, or something like that. I don't know. It's some kind of something in England. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and it's actually a compound. Now you have I'm looking at the next one. You have what you would call. This is what you would call. Again, when I teach the manifestation story about someone breathing into you their breath of life, that's a transformation also. You understand what I'm saying? Your evolution, even deeper than that, even deeper than me sharing with you from a book, as someone breathed into you your breath of life. You have to break that down by cycles, by your evolution. The true people who manifested here, that were not born by way of a mother and pushed out or anything like that, manifest in with life. That's when I say breathed into, and you just became a part of life. If you can imagine Saturn, Sun, and the Moon, that's your evolution. If you can imagine these planets giving themselves to the Earth so that the Earth can grow, so that something can come out of the Earth. It would be like when they say, let me just use it for example, because what y'all know, that they came to Mary and told her she's going to be injected with something, and what comes out of that will be God. A child called Jesus. So she's letting, and remember, the mother has always been looked at as the earth, and what comes out of the earth becomes life. This is on a different level. If you can imagine the planet Earth as a ball of fire, it was just a ball of fire, illuminating from a place to a place. And let's just say in darkness until it shifted out of darkness, until that planet Earth shifted out of darkness and came to a location. If you can imagine, let's say, certain things, the planet Saturn says, I want to give myself to the Earth for certain things. I'm going to give my properties of what I have. Remember, even when I'm talking about this Earth, every civilization, every planet was born out of another planet, or every civilization was born out of another civilization. When Saturn donated itself to this fiery ball called Earth, now called Terra. When Saturn donated itself, that's where you get your blood from, and that's where your heart starts from. That's where your heart came from. I'm just trying to simplify it. I can teach it in a more, I guess, formal way. How you doing? I'm good. Love you.
I'll be back.
All right. I can teach it on a more formal way, but I'm gonna just give it to you where you can, kind of pick up on it. Saturn came in to the Earth and donated his blood. And from that, you get your heart, which is an artery or organ. And we're dealing with organs now. I'm going to teach y'all about pre-cells, life before breathing. At this point, you're one. There's no oxygen yet. There's no water. There's nothing. You know, we're just, things are just manifesting. What is just becoming. Let's just say Saturn donated the blood. You know, from the heart, in your artery system. And let's just say that it was a time where your veins or your let's say, were opened up to light. That light came by way of sun. After Saturn did his job, the sun came in. And the sun came into the earth. And the sun donated plasma, carbon, light, and then being, and more beings. And then the moon came into the earth. And it's going to donate substance, something physical, something hard. All right, let's just say the earth is now super illuminated from Saturn's fiery place, from the sunbeams, from all of that light. And let's just say the sun, or let's just say Saturn now, when his job was done. And remember this, Saturn starts from warmth. We're talking about a place of warmth. When you deal with the planet Saturn, you wasn't dealing with nothing but warmth. And that's why we loved warmth. Saturn donated the blood. Where do you get, why are we warm-blooded people? Because of Saturn. When you hear me say our makeup wasn't from this atmosphere, it was done somewhere else. If you can approach Saturn in that time, it's like literally walking into an oven. Just nothing but heat. That heat donated itself to the earth, to the fiery earth, and went inside. That's why you have heat where? Inside of you. You automatically have heat in your blood vessel. The heat comes out of you. Heat comes out of your blood, and plasma comes out of your blood. Okay? You're preforming into beings then. Now when the sun goes in, a lot of people would think the heat comes from the sun. It's a certain amount of heat that would come from the sun, but the light and the beings and certain organs that was going to bear light came out of the sun. So that when Saturn left, it cooled the earth down a little bit. It cooled your blood down a little bit, so it wouldn't be, just say, to a boiling point. You know, your blood can boil. You pour enough blood into a bucket, you set the bucket, heat the bucket up, you'll see little bubbles. You see blood boiling. That would have been a blood overdose. Saturn removed itself after the organ of the heart, and the blood was donated, and it left, and that cools your temperature down. When the sun left, all the light, it set a certain amount of light in you, but when the sun left, think of when you pull a plug out of a socket and you still see a light for about 30 seconds or 10 seconds, you still see a light. That's leftover light. When the sun left the earth or departed from the earth, it still left a light, and that's the light you have shining within you. That's how you get that light. That's what the sun left. And you are to be directed back to that light. Now, when the moon pulled out, imagine a bucket of water, and you grabbing the bucket of water and snatching it. Some of that water is going to spill out right where it's at. When the moon pulled out, it left water in your body. That's why they say your body is such and such % water. Well, it actually left it in your cells. They count up the amount of water that's in your body by going into the nucleus of your cells and adding that little % of water up that the moon left behind. Okay? When I was sharing with you earlier, when Saturn was going into the earth and the sun was going into the earth, this is a development. There is no, we're talking organs right now. Organs, the earth is a living organism. Organisms are being formed, not cellular structures that came later. There's no atmosphere now, what I'm talking about. There's no need to breathe. This is pre-breathing, pre-atmosphere, pre-cells. Physicians or biologists should be able to tell you that organs come before cells. So while you were being made up or becoming, this was even before you had physical bones, physical body, we're talking about the etheric makeup of you. And this is when you hear people say, oh, wasn't the sun a part of the earth one time? Wasn't the moon a part of the earth one time? In its becoming, yes, the sun, the moon, Saturn donated itself and then it left. Now, think of this. Think of a man donating his sperm to a woman, right? And going in unto her. And she having a son, she begetting a son. And she pushes out a son. Same thing with the planet. The sun came into the earth and impregnated it with solar energy, with light. And then it was time for the sun to remove itself. After 9 months, the baby has to come out. If you stay in a certain place too long, it could be detrimental. The earth could have been hurt. So the sun, who were nothing, not nothing, who was a bunch of beings. And I'm going to explain that. Once the sun left and took its shine, the shine became what you would call atmospheric, or from up above, from in celestial heavens or the skies. And that same shine came shining back down onto the planet. Instead of shining from within up. Because before the sun hovered over the planet, it was in the planet, germinating itself into the planet, giving it its carbon. Now, don't they tell you that everything on this earth is like 90-something% carbon? Because in the formation of the planet, that's the sun doing this part. Now, what was the sun? The sun was a bunch of celestial beings, light bearers, beings that bear light. So when the sun entered the earth, the organ of the earth, it allowed the light to shine through. That's where you get your light coming through your body. That's where you get your shine, your glow. That's why they tell you guys, you drink alcohol and it gets to your chest and it burns because it's hitting your light. Again, Saturn donated a certain parts, blood, you get arteries, you get things of that nature, all coming out of Saturn, your heart and everything like that. And when Saturn pulled away, this became streams, ventricles, veins, arteries, and things like that. All of this blood just flowed that had to go through you. That system was set up. And then I said, then the sun came in and gave the completion to their growth. The beings that were on the sun, they had a growth and evolution, but that growth started off when they donated themselves to the earth. That's like sperm entering a woman's egg. And growth begins. A child, and that child has to come out of her. That's why they call the mother earth, right? They call her earth. And then what comes out of the mother? A son to be born, a child to be born. In the biblical cases, it was the sun. Right, in biblical cases, they're dealing with sun energy. So again, when the moon left, that left the water. So when you hear people say, oh, the earth was a part of the moon was a part of the earth, or this or that, they're not actually explaining it to you the right way. It's talking about a Saturn, sun, and moon evolution. And all these things were in the earth, helping it grow, and they pulled themselves away from the earth to further sustain the earth. The moon energy pulled out so it can control the water or the cellular structure in your makeup. That's why they tell you the moon controls all the tides of water on the planet. The sun pulled out so you wouldn't overheat, so you can be able to inject into that egg and give birth, and that light can shine, that light can grow from the injection of your sperm into the egg. So when the sun pulled out, all the light that was inside the earth was now outside of the earth, shining down over it. When Saturn pulled out, that began your artery system, your blood, your heart, and everything, that began a pumping, that began a tone. This is not actually formal. I'm trying to get it, because if I say it the right way, it will lose y'all. But this is just to wrap up when people feel, yo, the sun was a part of the earth. You hear people saying, yo, there's a sun in the center of the earth. At one point, the sun was in the earth. But the sun are nothing but a bunch of beings. Light bearers, beings that bear light. Now, when your organ structure was made up, after your heart and your blood and everything, and the sun donated its light to stream through your nervous system, that's what your nervous system is for. Your nervous system is for light to stream through and energize your nervous system, shock it, and wake it up. The sun is a bunch of beings. Think of this. When people die, right? Just say we fast forward, we're on the earth. People die, they get buried. Suppose you don't use caskets, which you don't supposed to. You're supposed to feed the human body right back to the earth. Suppose you don't use caskets, right? If you don't use caskets, all the bodies will go into the earth. Now go look up celestial. Act like you're looking down from heaven at the earth. And the earth been here, let's say,